Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so just I would like to show all of you that what is there in now our LMS. There are a lot many things are being uploaded now, so you will be able to see it. Number one is the materials. So if you click to material, you will go to the course and search here. You will find a lot many articles. Tips of teaching large group, teaching learning in group, small group teaching. 550, 50 things are available. Okay, more than it. You see, 56 articles are available based on teaching and learning different methodologies, which have been taught to you by different speakers. Same way, few things are available here also. Okay, Gantt chart and methodology. These two you can download. I think you all have already downloaded it. And now, as and when we will be taking the sessions, things will be uploaded in the LMS. And now there are few people who have not attended all the sessions. So to make it easier, we have also uploading the sessions here in a video section. Okay, you'll be able to see. Okay, so you can go through this and you can attend the session, or you can just review the session. So, liked by everyone, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So all the sessions except either one or two, all sessions are uploaded now. So you can just go through it and make use of application. So who is presenting now? So I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, Anand sir has already uploaded. So Anand sir, I am uploading it. I am sharing the screen, and you just go through, or you can just share your voice. Okay. I am sharing the screen now. Okay, can you just sir, you need to start.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. So, here is my project title, that is Broaden Horizons of Reforms in BDS Curriculum, Awareness, Perception, and Need on Proposed Elective Courses among Dental Undergraduate Students and Teaching Faculty in Karnataka, a cross-sectional survey. So name of the researcher is Dr. Anand Kumar J. Patil and name of the guide Dr. Jyothsana Nagda Madam and name of the co-guider Dr. Chinmay Shah sir and Gaurang Baksha sir. Hello. So the background of the study is the dental education plays a very crucial role in producing competent dental professionals who can cater to the diverse needs of the patients. However, in India, the dental curriculum has been criticized for its traditional structure and lack of flexibility, leading to a skill gap between the graduates and industry expectation. So this gap can be attributed to various factors such as outdated curriculum, inadequate exposure to clinical practice, and lack of emphasis on research and critical thinking skills. So the teaching methodology of patient management is characterized by segmented approach, lacking horizontal and vertical integration. Next,
Yeah.
the rationale,
Yes, it is taking some time.
the current rationale,
Wait. Let it come.
the current BDS curriculum in India largely focuses on theoretical knowledge with limited opportunities to explore the interest and acquire the practical skills. So this current BDS curriculum lacks diversity. So next one.
Yeah. Actually, I have learned the match, but somehow it
Okay.
is not clean yet. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you see now? Right now. Yeah, I think it will. It is taking too much time.
Next slide. It's not.
Yeah. But it is taking, I think, 30 seconds to display. Let me do one thing. You can just speak, no problem. I will just try to get him and then present from my laptop. Or I think you can also try once if possible. I'm stopped sharing for a while. Can you just try from your side?
Shall I try it in mobile, sir?
Yes. Actually, I have tried from mobile only, but it has not worked well.
Sir, where should I go for the screen sharing? In the three
The
dots, sir.
three dots. Yeah, three dots. It says content sharing.
Yes.
Click on that.
ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
I'm doing it, sir. Just a minute, sir.
Okay, let me try because I have also got it on laptop. If it gets easier. Okay, can you see now?
File is not getting selected, sir.
We can see, sir.
Yes. So the rationale for this study is the current BDS curriculum in India largely focuses on theoretical knowledge with limited opportunity to explore the interest and acquire the practical skills. So this current BDS curriculum lacks diversity and limits the student exposure to multidisciplinary learning. So the need for broadening horizons is evident in the changing landscape of dental education. The BDS curriculum has to change and adapt to the needs of the stakeholders, that is students, teachers, industrial partners, society, and patient care improvement. The next is the elective courses in the BDS curriculum is to provide the students with the opportunity to explore the specific areas of their interest within the field of dentistry. So these elective courses allow the students to gain additional knowledge and skills in the specialized areas beyond the core curriculum. Next slide. So what is the need for these elective courses? These elective courses in the BDS curriculum serve several important purposes. First, they allow the dental students to explore the specialized areas of interest within the dentistry. So by selecting courses, students can delve deeper into specific subjects that align with their career goals or personal interests. Secondly, these elective courses provide a broader and more well-rounded education. Dentistry encompasses various disciplines such as oral surgery, orthodontics, pediatric dentistry, prosthodontics, and more. These electives allow students to gain exposure to these different fields, fostering and comprehensive understanding of dentistry as a whole. So these elective courses allow the students to gain additional knowledge and skills in specialized areas beyond the core curriculum. So in 2011, the Medical Council of India introduced reforms to undergraduate medical courses, including the inclusion of electives. These electives provide opportunity for projects, self-directed learning, and improving the critical thinking and research skill. So similar electives should also be introduced in dental education to equip the students with well-rounded skills for their future careers. So what is the context of taking up this study? The undergraduate student education in India has undergone significant changes with initiatives introduced during the 11th year plan to improve the education based on recommendations from National
Hello,
Knowledge Commission.
Dr. Anand.
Sir.
I will request that
Yes,
just read the slide. Now, just
yes, sir.
tell us that what you are planning to do. We have gone through the introduction. And so, what is your
Yes, sir.
ultimate
Yes.
plan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will go to the
So,
methodology actually. Okay.
yes, sir.
So,
Yes,
what you are
yes, sir.
going to do?
Yes, sir. So, shall I read the gaps and limitations, sir, or no?
No. Start from the study design now. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir. So mainly the outcomes or the objectives of our study is, shall I read first methodology, sir? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, this strategy involves collaboration with industry expert, curriculum integration, and student feedback. So a cross-sectional study will be conducted through the Google Forms to evaluate the awareness, perception, and need for electives among the undergraduate students, sir, and teaching faculty of Karnataka state in India to bring the reforms in the existing BDS curriculum. So we'll be taking a cross-sectional survey of the students and teachers, sir, both. So here a self-administered questionnaire consisting of 30 questions will be formulated, which consist of 5 demographic questions and around 10 awareness questions and 10 perception questions and need 5 questions. So these questions will be divided into 4 parts, which I mentioned just now. These questionnaires will be circulated among the third year and final year undergraduate interns and teaching faculty through the electronic media after the approval of the ethical committee, sir. So the cross-section study design is carried out in this, and study subjects will be the undergraduate students and faculty. The inclusion criteria is all the third year final year students, interns, teaching faculty of Karnataka state. The exclusion criteria is candidates who are not willing to participate and give their consent. And these are the few awareness questions, sir, which I have designed. So maybe it requires a few corrections. So I will discuss with the madam, and then shall I read 1-2 questions for example, sir?
Okay.
Say for example, if you have to evaluate the awareness from the students or the faculty, so the questions which we formulated is, are you aware of the new elective based curriculum to be proposed to the TCI for the BDS? So whether
नहीं
very
अभी आपको तो
unaware,
ये
like
आपका
that.
क्वेश्चन है. सुनो. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? हाँ.
Yes,
अभी
sir.
आपका क्वेश्चन है, देखो क्वेश्चन में ही आपने लिखा है टू बी प्रपोज टू DCI. तो वो तो स्टूडेंट को या फैकल्टी को कैसे पता होगा?
अभी जैसे अभी
प्रपोज
नेशनल
भी नहीं
कमीशन.
हुआ है.
Yes.
हाँ नहीं, लेकिन वो तो बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशन हो गया है ना. कि अभी
हाँ
जो
हाँ
प्रपोज
हाँ
भी नहीं हुआ है, किसी और कमीशन ने बोला हुआ है और प्रपोज होने वाला है, दैट यू एक्सपेक्ट।
करेक्ट
ठीक है,
करेक्ट
तो मेरा क्या कहना है, डॉक्टर गौरंग इज ऑल्सो देयर, ही कैन ऑल्सो सजेस्ट। सो
करेक्ट सर
द सी आपका टाइटल है, वो देख के तो ऐसा लगता है कि यू आर गोइंग टू डू समथिंग इलेक्टिव। ठीक है,
करेक्ट सर करेक्ट सर
broaden the horizon of reform in BDS curriculum. Rather, you simply remove this headline because
यस
it
सर
is like a breaking news.
ओके सर
So project will be
यस सर
awareness, perception, and
यस सर
need for, see, awareness,
यस
perception,
सर
and need for propose भी निकालो, need for elective courses among dental allergy students,
यस सर
amongst dental undergraduate students. Okay.
and the teaching faculty also I have included, sir. So shall I
Yeah,
keep it? Or? Yes.
I am just trying to formulate. Other participants can also suggest awareness, perception, and need of elective amongst undergraduate students. Then colon a cross-sectional study amongst faculty and undergraduate.
Yes. Sir. So that BDS curriculum and all will take it out, sir.
Yeah. Broaden horizon of reforms in BDS curriculum that you should remove because it looks
Yes.
like a breaking.
Okay.
So
Okay.
awareness,
Sir. Okay.
perception, and need of elective courses or
In the BDS
elective
curriculum.
modules among
Yes, sir.
dental undergraduate students.
Yes, sir.
Cross-sectional study in bracket
Yes, sir.
uh, amongst student and faculty. और ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं, faculty and students perception awareness and,
Yes, sir. वो भी कर सकते
है ना,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can do that
तो
also.
थोड़ा इसको मॉडिफाई करना पड़ेगा जो आप एक्चुअली करने वाले हो।
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ठीक है,
Yes, sir.
तो
Yes, sir.
और
Yes.
अभी आप देखो और कोई क्वेश्चन डिड यू फाइंड एनी क्वेश्चन है?
Oh, sir. Related to awareness, are you aware of the content of the existing curriculum of the DCI for BDS? Does the existing curriculum covers all the advanced learning opportunities? उसका मतलब
So
सब
what
ऑप्शन
I
दे रहा
will
हूँ सर.
suggest, so
Yes, sir.
what I will suggest for you,
Hmm.
rather than directly framing this questionnaire on your own, first of all,
Yes,
try
sir.
to search few of the papers which have been already published for medical
Yes, sir.
colleges.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Secondly, you take informal interview of few faculty, 2-3 faculty and 4-5 students. फिर आप
Yes,
क्या
sir.
सोचते हो?
Okay,
Note
sir.
it down and from that you prepare a questionnaire. It will be better.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. This actually one article I have seen, sir, that is choice based, that credit based education system is there, no, sir? CBSE.
Credit based is different, but that is
Yes.
totally different than competency
Yes,
based.
yes, yes.
That
Means
is credit
here.
based.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just for framing up the question, I just went through that article
So
and I have modified it according to my needs, sir. From that.
just try to see
Yes, sir.
some paper of medical also which has been already published.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And as I
Actually,
said, you can do the
related
interview
to
of two,
electives,
three
sir.
faculty.
Yes, sir. Related to electives, there are no article only, sir, in India. So when I searched for my reference article, so only few articles are there, sir. But I will definitely check from the medical side because when I checked for dental, I did not find any articles at all, sir.
Okay.
So as you said, sir, maybe a medical side, few articles I have got, sir, as a reference article. I will just go through them in depth, sir. Okay.
See, there is one paper, knowledge, attitude, and practice of dental students and practitioners. Okay. So
Okay.
just try to find out some from
Yes, sir.
medical, some from dental, and
Yes.
then frame the questionnaire.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's. I can finish the PPT. Other than concept of conclusion. Okay. So I think you got the idea. What correction need to be made?
Yes. Yes, sir. I will do it. I will do it.
Okay. Okay. Time
Okay, thank
stop, 7. Who is next presenting? As Madam has written the name.
Sir, me, sir, Shilpa, and Mirna,
Okay,
madam.
okay,
Another 3 people, 2 people, sir.
okay. Share your screen.
Okay, sir. Well, good evening, everyone. My topic of this study is a photo voice as a participatory action research method. It is both qualitative and quantitative data analysis. I'll be covering under the following headings. So, what exactly is a photo voice? Can anybody tell me what exactly the picture is depicting about? Anybody? It is a famous athlete who won the
maybe
gold medal in the Olympic.
some laser
Okay.
therapy or turbo hemorrhage.
So this athlete, he did not have any shoes to run, and he just got those two unmatchable shoes from the trash, and then he just won on the ground, and then he won the medal. So photo-wise is nothing but not just clicking a picture of a person or an event. It actually shows a lot of stories behind the stories, or what are the improvement required, whether it is related to one person or a community or a group or a place. So in this we can see there is a lot of garbage collecting cans are there, but still the garbage is outside. That shows how much the people are aware of the things. Everyone can see, even day to day also we can pass through the street and then we just neglect it, but we don't do it. But there are a lot of consequences we see, but we don't bother much. So this photo wise is basically a picture worth of 1,000 words. These photos basically give the voice to the incidents for the people and the circumstances to bring out the changes. So photo voice, it is a process in which the people, usually those with a limited power due to poverty, language barrier, or the race, class, ethnicity, gender, or culture. So these images to be captured aspect of the environment and experiences to share them with the others. It was first developed by Paul Ferro in 1974, and it was modified by Wang and Boris in 1997, which he named it as a voicing our own individual and collective experiences. So now coming to the why should we use this method? So this method basically bring a lot of changes and we can see immediate changes. Photography can be a fun and creative, and it can taking those pictures, and it makes a lot of sense to the people to change their participants' perceptions about their social and environmental. Basic photography, it is very easy to learn and accessible to all the individuals nowadays. An image can be understood regardless of the whether the language, culture, or any other factors, and this can actually make the policymakers, who cannot deny when they see exactly the pictures right on their face. And who should use these photos? People with the disabilities, children, youth, and youth with the difficulties, homeless adults and families, people with the physical and mental disabilities, and people with the chronic diseases. And this can also be done in basically this study was done community outreach program in racial, ethnic, and different religious, cultural minorities. So when we can use this method? So this method can be used to bring the change in the environment, to understand the group situation, to address the problems, when there is a change is necessary, when the community assessment is needed, or when there is a documentation is needed to understand the pre and post, and when there is an intervention is needed, and when there is a need to hold the policymakers. What are the advantages? It intend to evaluate the community needs, and the context, the diagnosis and evaluation of the process to assess the world people's point of view, and exceptionally powerful means of communication as. Now, what are the organizations who can get benefit from these studies? Basically, in schools and school and other colleges, the orphanages, the homeless shelters, the organization work with the people those who are in need and humanity, or the community health centers, the organizer with the mental and disabilities, and in refugee camps. They now coming to the study. This give the opportunity to understand the students to and co-construct the meaning of the around the common experiences among them, and to take a note and record the strength and weakness of their own circumstances, and it will create a dialogue to discuss the group in the photographs. What are the goals of the study is to help those who are often unheard gain the voice, enabling them to record and reflect their experiences. It also brings out the change which will improve the conditions and enhance the lives, and then to encourage the critical consciousness through the choosing, discussing, reflecting the subjects of their photographs. These photographs can come from the clear understanding of their circumstances, which includes the economical or social or psychological or political forces. What is the theory of a change in this photo voice? This picture can be used usually with the captions, and we can give with the stories written below in that, which will be exhibited in social gatherings, so that it can be assessed by the higher authorities and it will bring the change in the communities. The visual image, you can assess the most vulnerable groups and populations. Regardless of whether they can read or write, the facilitate this method, it is going to facilitate the sampling of different social and behavior context. This might also, otherwise it is not available to health professional and researchers. Similar interventions, some community of this study is basically done under the community outreach program, where the method is community-based research, participatory research, where the some cameras will be given to the community and they will bring out the whatever their life experiences, and then it will be analyzed. There are many review of literature. All those literatures are based on community outreach program. None of them includes the educational program. There are, but it is very few and not in India. This method is not done in India. So how it is different, this project? Participatory action research, it involves the four components, that is the action, the participation, the research, and the social changes. So this method was introduced by Chivalry Buckles and Buckles in 2013. According to this, these are the four components which requires equal critical considerations, and we plan and implement. So this study involves both the qualitative method and quantitative method to assess. Gaps and limitations involves a series of consent forms required, providing a letters with the methods and projects should be given, and then ensuring the ethical issues are discussed prior to with the participants and with the authorities. And then there is qualitative data and quantitative data requires group discussions and transcripting of the data. What are the changes? Short-term outcome would be students get motivated, increase in self-confidence, increase in evaluation. Students will be satisfied with this.
Now, Silpaji,
Yes,
अभी
sir.
तक miss, I think methodology is yet to come.
Yes, sir. Methodology is here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the methodology involves making the collecting all the photographs. Then first give the this methodology involves in four phases. The first phase involves participant recruitment. So in this total 10 participants will be recruited, and then they'll be given some training and instructions how to click, what to click, and what all the aspect to be considered. In phase 2, the photography analysis. So the photography analysis is first, after collecting all the photographs, it has to be analyzed from the researcher's interpretation. Once it is done, that will be done under the following criteria: why what we can see in the photograph, what is happening, and how it is going to affect in our day-to-day lives and what we can do about it. And then we see second phase, we assess based on the participant interpretation, and then we theorized and we have to consider some topics, or what exactly among 10 people, how many people will have a same common interest, or categorize it and recategorize it. After that, it will be in phase 3, there will be interviews. So one-on-one interviews, which explains how exactly, why did they take these pictures, and these all the questions should be explained by the participants when we do the one-on-one interviews, and their answers will be collected and transcribed. And then we can have a group interviews with the same topic, and then we can take the answer from them, and it is being collected, the data will be collected. Then after the collection, then it has to be exhibited, all the photographs categorized and exhibited in a social gathering or in a conference. So, and it would be like this, something like this. So final phase is what changes we can do about it is how to create the plan of action for those problems or the issues. So that will be my methodology. So. And then concept mapping, I have not elaborated it properly, but the ultimate goal is to bring out the change that will improve the conditions. Evaluation questions would be these. I just now I have framed it. I don't have any of questions to be framed before. Like I don't have any parent article or something like that to frame questions. So I have to sit and frame the questions once the theme is selected. So even I can't even frame the questions right now because I don't know what kind of a theme or the issues will be selected. So I will have to elaborate or organize the questions based on the project themes. And these are some evaluation questions, which is whether they gain some new skills, how exactly they felt about the method or a project, or whether it is effective or not effective. And these are some indicator matrix I have not analyzed exactly properly, sir.
Excellent,
This is it.
Dr. Silpa. I think you
Yes,
need
sir.
to
Thank you, sir.
take a sip of water and glass of water.
Yes.
Okay. So topic is excellent. Something innovative topic is there. But
Yes, sir.
as you yourself said, it need to do lot many deep digging of the articles
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
views and anything. And definitely,
Yes, sir.
see, what I perceive is when you are asking and participating students for uh, this project, you need to
Yes,
sensitize
sir.
them more also. And
Yes, sir.
I think one-to-one discussion with the guide is needed. Please share a few
Yes, sir.
articles regarding this participatory.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I can
So
hear you,
please
sir.
share whatever article you have on this project in the group, so
Yes, sir.
everybody else can also go through it. Okay,
Yes,
the
sir.
article
Thank
is
you, sir.
nice, but as I said, we need to see in detail.
Yes, sir. I
So
have to do a lot of work on this. I have to work on during the project also, start from the beginning till the end. So it is not
yeah,
an easy task, but I'm ready to take up now. Initially, I was not ready.
yeah.
Initially, I thought I'll do for this self-directed learning, but I felt it is very simple topic. What exactly I'm doing in educational projects. So I come across this topic, but I don't have much of a resource supporting it. But I don't know how much it is going to work out. Like it all based on the end product will be based on the how much my college authorities will able to take the actions. So it is all in the question marks.
I think now Dr. Jyothsana madam has already joined. So who are the two remaining people who need to present? Okay,
Sir,
and Siddharth. Okay, so
Dr.
you would
Sir.
also like to have your consent. So is it okay if we start the session of Jyothsana madam, or you want to?
Do you want us to present today itself, or tomorrow we can take a short session? Tomorrow or someday you
I
suggest.
think tomorrow we'll take a short session
Mhm.
of presentation of tomorrow or within 2 or 3 days. For example,
Okay, sir.
we'll
Sir,
share
I
in
have,
the group.
sir, I will
Yeah.
share my presentation in the group so that because I have shared the documents with Naga ma'am, and my presentation also I shared today itself. So in the afternoon, evening itself. So I'll share in
So
the
what
group.
I'm doing,
Hmm.
yeah. So what I'm doing now, that in our LMS, I'm creating one group discussion. I'm creating. Share your project. Okay. So everybody share their PPTs in there. So all of
Sir,
us will be
sometimes
able.
I have problem over there. So can I share in the group itself, sir? So that
Sure,
will
sure.
learn.
Okay. Then share in the group. No problem. Share in the group. And before we start the session by Jyothsana ma'am, let me inform all of you that all the sessions has been uploaded in video section, and around 56 article has been uploaded in the material section of our LMS. So just go through it and just catch up if you have some missed session. Yeah, Jyothsana ma'am, over to you.
Hello, Chinmay sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are things?
Yeah, things are good. We took a small part of your time. So over to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Chinmay sir, you will be around or someone else is going to be there as the host?
Yeah, I will be there, and Mr. Samik will be there. He is our technical guy. If you
Okay.
need any, what I can say, activity or breakout room, he will be there too. You can present.
No activity. They have to present today.
Then there is no problem. Please continue.
Yeah, I see some shocked faces now. So
Madam, you forgot, madam.
I totally forgot him. I was totally I have
very
forgot.
nice students, no? Like all teachers, I'm prepared with a contingency. Okay. So I'm gonna give you 45 minutes. Take time till 7 o'clock. Please design a module now. Okay. So I'm going to share one document with you, which is going to be the checklist you need to consider when you're thinking of a module. So in between, I will be here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But I do hope, like the diligent students, you will use the next 45 minutes to design the module. Fine? Is that okay? So from 7 to 8, each one of you, how many of you are there today? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of you are there today. Okay. So from 7 o'clock onwards, 4 of you can present today and 4 of you can present next week, which means we are
Ma'am, keep
learn
it
together.
for next week because I was totally engrossed with the project we presented today.
That's something for you guys to take a call. Okay. So I would want you to put in your efforts and design this module based on the guidelines we have already discussed. Fine. Is that okay? Now here I need to figure out how to set an attachment. Okay. So you can share documents on this, right? In the chat. Have you shared like that before?
Ma'am, you can share in the WhatsApp group itself.
Content, add files, it says here.
We can share files, madam. It's there. Option.
Yeah, I'm just figuring out how to do that.
Like it will be drag and drop, madam.
Okay. I'll take you through the Word document. so that we are all clear and on the same page as to what is it that we are expecting, right? Okay, while that gets loaded. You are all able to share, right? Because it's not allowing me to share right now.
Ma'am, best send in the group, ma'am. So it will be easy for us.
Yeah, that's easy for you, but this document is on my laptop. So
In laptop, you can open WhatsApp and
you
directly.
really don't want to use the QR code and do all that stuff now. That's the thing. It's taking time to load. Probably I'll have to shift out of the internet connection.
Ma'am, it can do it, madam. The size is 100 MB. I guess it won't be a problem, madam.
Mm. No, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi.
Madam, if you don't mind, you share it to one of us. We'll try to upload it here, madam. We'll log into WhatsApp and we'll share it here, madam.
Okay. I'll do one thing. There seems to be some error because I'm not able to share my screen with you all. Okay. So I'll just log out and again join back.
Madam, you can also share in a WhatsApp or if you go to the chat button, you click on attachment and then attach from the desktop or wherever it is.
She's saying, sir, madam is saying that her document is there in the laptop, sir.
Oh.
Then you can download the WhatsApp in the laptop, so you can connect it easily.
The best part is start sharing directly. No need to do attachment. Madam, you share the screen and open it up in laptop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. Can you all see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So the checklist is going to be like you're going to design this. We have already discussed these aspects. So please ensure that these components are filled out in your module design decisions. So why you want to have the module? What are your design decisions in terms of the vision and mission, objectives? Who is your
Kindly
target?
make it full screen.
I'm sharing on a Word document. I'll be sending this on your this thing also. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So who is your target audience? What are the audience characteristics? What is the expected outcome? Or if you're looking at a competency based kind of a module, what is the competency you expect the participants to have? So spices, which component of spices are you focusing on in this module design? How is your curriculum organized? Are you looking at integrating it? or you're looking at it as core and electives, you're looking at it as a spiral model, or you're looking at a modular structure. So please pay attention to your design decisions. So what is their instructional approach? This is just a few suggestions of CBL, PBL, TBL. You can go with any other method also. What is the instructional medium? Are you going with blended, online, face-to-face? Are you considering a curriculum management system? And who is your curriculum management team? Who is going to, how are you planning to do the curriculum monitoring and improvement? That is the evaluation part. Coming to the specifics of it, the lesson related design decisions. So what is your intended learning outcome? What's your learning and teaching method? What's your learner support? The learning resources, the learning environment, scheduling. How will the student learning approach be there? And what's your assessment system? Okay. So I have just given a checklist kind because this just says included, not included. I would want you to pay attention to each of these parameters. Also identify which model you're going to adopt for this curriculum design. And there is another column for any kind of notes, comments, and suggestions, just so that you can add onto your building of the knowledge part. This is okay? Is this okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So let me see now. We should be able to get the file.
Ma'am, we need that format now.
Yes, it's there with you now. It's there. Did you receive it?
Madam, in WhatsApp you have sent, madam.
No. On this meeting itself, I have sent it.
In chat, it is not showing anything, madam.
In the content form. So content
it is
allows
not.
you to add.
It's not showing that.
So it asked me to add a
Yeah, yeah.
content.
It is showing, madam. It's there in the content. There we have
Yeah.
an option of download, madam.
Yeah. Chinmay sir, how to add it in the chat option? Chat, it did not allow me to add a file.
Totally, what I'm doing is just
Can somebody
clicking
add in
on
the
attach
WhatsApp
button.
group, please?
Yes.
Sir?
I am simply attaching from like an attachment we attach in the mail. I routinely do like that only.
How
Meena,
do you?
madam,
Madam,
will share it on
Madam,
WhatsApp.
from content, I could download. I have downloaded it.
Siddharth sir,
Sana?
sir, please send it in
Narendra sir,
WhatsApp.
kindly send in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, let me try.
I'm saying.
I'm not used to WebEx, so I'm just exploring now. I'd appreciate it if you all stay on video. Even those who are off video today.
I have shared it on the group.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll be around. Any doubts, any questions? Let's have a nice discussion. I know that it's impossible to design the complete module by 7 o'clock, but get it to a progression stage and we'll have inputs from everybody today. So each one of you can discuss it for maybe about 4 minutes to 5 minutes, present what you have done, and we'll learn from each other within that discussion process.
Madam, you have to write just included or not included, madam. That's it, or you have to give a descriptive
That's
explanation.
checklist for your guidance. I want you to design that. Okay. Only if you have written the vision, mission properly, then you say written or included. Otherwise, not
No,
that.
we have a PPT ready for that, madam.
Okay. The
So-
module is ready.
Yeah, madam.
Miss ma'am, we have to modify according to this checklist.
You designed a curriculum kind of a module.
Yeah, madam.
Okay. Then use the checklist to help you to fine tune it further.
Yeah,
then.
madam. Like, for example, I'll tell madam, you have mentioned here like spices.
Yeah.
It's based on spices model only, but we did mention that in PPT. So right now I can take that and I can put it there that this design is based on spices model. That way, I guess it
See,
will be.
spices. Are you saying your whole module was designed on spices?
Yeah, madam. It's a student-centered, problem-based learning. Like that, there was a gap wherein the implantology aspect, the students are not exposed to it. Basically, the undergraduate students.
Okay. So
So
the other
that
day, so we had a discussion on this. Spices is not a curriculum design model.
okay, madam.
Spices is a guideline to say that how a curriculum should be. So when
Okay.
we talk of curriculum design or instructional design, we speak about Kern's model, Dirk and Carey, the 4CID model, ADDIE model.
I have taken a reference of Kirk and Patrick's model, madam.
Kern and
Patrick's.
okay. So the Kern's model is a curriculum design model. Kirkpatrick model is a evaluation model.
Okay, okay, madam.
Okay. So Kirkpatrick can be used at to check how
Evaluation.
learned also. It's different context altogether.
Okay, okay.
If you've already designed your module or model, a curriculum or whatever, it must be easy to present it today then, right? Just need to fine tune it based on the checklist.
Yeah, madam. Now it is helping us identify which component we have missed out. You know.
Yeah. Okay, good then. So we'll stick to the plan of 4 of you presenting, or everybody wants to present, at least for 5-10 minutes.
We'll try, madam, whatever little,
Okay, fine. So half an hour time is all yours. I'm available if you have any questions.
Hmm.
Sandhya madam. Madam,
Yes,
did you
sir.
Madam, did you feel the feedback? I felt it, but I don't know how far it
No,
is.
no, I am on the process, sir. I've not completed.
प्रार्थना।
Are we ready? Can we get started? All are on mute, so I don't hear any word. Yeah, should we get started?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Okay, who wants to go first? Who wants to share?
I can share something.
Cheers.
Good.
Is my PPT visible?
It is. It's on slide 11 though.
Okay. Okay, this I didn't have any preconceived idea, but just with whatever idea just which came to my mind, I just tried to make a small module. This is regarding training of BDS students for fixed indirect restorations. The need for the curriculum is that simple fixed restorations are part of day-to-day dental practice, and current training is inadequate as well as the specific curriculum is absent
Okay.
in the undergraduate curriculum.
Okay,
And
so I'll just pause here.
yeah,
Let's go back to this part. The second slide. So, as a trainer, as a faculty, this is your observation, isn't it, sir? So, how will you also establish the need from a student perspective?
okay. So maybe a simple short survey.
Yeah. So, short survey is one method. What else you can do?
Survey from, from teachers who are already teaching this aspect of prosthodontics.
Right. So, you have a teacher perspective, you're getting a student perspective. Other than that,
Or evaluation of the current syllabus.
yes. So that is the other method. So there should be a triangulation of different methods. Now we are saying that you want to teach them fixed restorations. So whenever you come up with an idea and say, I want to conduct this modular training, the first question is going to be, why should you do this? What is the need for it? And when you talk about the need, it should be a systematically developed process. Now we are looking at it only from a teacher's perspective. So we have to add to our scheme of understanding that we have to look at it from a student's perspective as well as primarily from a curricular perspective. You have mentioned that a specific curriculum is absent. I would suggest modifying the term to say, in the curriculum, this particular topic is not there. Or even if this topic is there, it might be given weightage in the examination. So what is the missing link that needs to be highlighted particularly? Okay. Anyone else would like to add some suggestions or comments? Okay, please go
Madam,
ahead.
this, triangulation is regarding the need.
Yes, because when you triangulate it, it becomes stronger because you are not just speaking from one perspective, you're looking at it from multiple perspectives. The other key important people who can give you that need establishment is the patients. Because we always talk about patient-centered care. So if the patients have identified the students are not adequately trained, that becomes a very important component for need of a curriculum. So we can make it a habit that whenever we talk about need of a module or a curriculum, we look at it from 4 aspects: the student, the faculty, the curriculum itself, and the patient or the community.
So this regarding vision and mission, I didn't spend so much time to think about in detail. But in simple terms, to prepare general practitioners with adequate knowledge and skills, capable of competently performing routine fixed restorations in general practice.
So what is the difference between a vision statement and a mission statement?
Vision is a broad outline and it's a small statement with a broader outlook. Whereas mission is, I think, with the different points covering different aspects in point wise in a little detail.
Okay. Anyone else would like to pitch in? Are the others there, or they're all? I mean, because it's the videos are off, I can't make out too.
Ma'am,
I think
hello, ma'am. Hello.
Everybody are there. Everybody are there.
Yes.
So, ma'am, mission is where we
would
want to
be,
reach.
Yeah, one by one, please go ahead.
Ma'am, mission is where we want to reach, and vision is what what is our visualization as of now.
Okay. Anyone else?
vision is a thought process of making the concept or a project, whereas a mission is a practical approach.
What do you mean by a practical approach?
Like whatever we have thought of the procedure, we implement it. That is mission.
Okay. What is the
Madam,
fundamental difference?
Vision could include core values of an institution, like which will.
Okay. What's the fundamental difference between your vision statement and a mission statement?
Long term and short term.
No. Mission will always give an outline as to how you intend to achieve things. Okay. Vision is a very broad statement, like you said. This is our ultimate goal. Mission statements are going to give out a pathway to reach that goal. So when you prepare your vision and mission statement, both these things should be properly detailed. So what is it that you intend to achieve is going to be your vision statement. How you will achieve it becomes your mission statement. So in that context, can you just add how you intend to produce general practitioners with adequate knowledge and skills and all that?
By preparing a training module, different modules based on theory and practical training, and then clinical training.
Okay. So that the focus is entirely on the curricular aspect of it, right? So just by having a training module, will you be able to produce such practitioners?
No.
So what is required? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Student motivation.
Okay.
Monitoring.
Monitoring, but how do you put it across as a mission statement?
Okay. Creating awareness.
Those are all a part of it, right? But how do you write a mission statement? So you can put it across and say, in the next 2 years,
Okay.
we, through systematically trained, through curricular training, we intend to produce this quality of students, something like that. So you have a goal, right? That way. So you have a definite goal. So you have a mission 2020 or mission 2025. So what is it that you're going to do and how you do it? Both are going to be part of your mission statements. Okay. Yeah. Yes,
You
ma'am.
said in next 2 years. Is it always necessary that it has to be 2 years? Can it be like for shorter period of time?
Up to you. Up to you to define it. So while usually the overall vision, I'm talking of a bigger perspective, let's say of a curriculum or something, the overall vision tends to be like at the end of the, through the BDS curriculum, we want to produce quality dental practitioners. That statement does not change much, right? If it's 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, that statement is going to be more or less the same. But how you do it definitely varies. So mission statement can be, we intend to do this through competency-based education. We intend to do this through rigorous certification of knowledge, skills, and attitude. We intend to do this through exhaustive patient exposure. We intend to do this through global exposure. So there could be many ways you can reach that vision statement. So what you outline as a mission statement is going to give an overarching view of how your curricular structure is going to be. Now, you are saying that you want to bring in student-centered, community-based, spices model, essentially, right? So a few of those components can get reflected in your mission statement. So how do you produce general practitioners with all this? You can do it by developing a student-centered learning approach. By developing curriculum which suits the needs of the population. Okay, so that's how you can go about it. Fine. Okay, next one.
So objectives of this model is the student should be able to learn the concept of indirect restorations, knowledge of different materials, develop skills for tooth preparation, knowledge about the armamentarium, knowledge and skills of various impression techniques, knowledge and skills regarding cementation techniques.
Okay, so at this point, I had put the column there which said these are your design decisions regarding the overall goal of the curriculum or the module. So here I would expect to see your outcomes, or whether you're going with a competency kind. These are what you have put in our type of SLOs, right? Specific learning objectives or intended learning objectives. So when you're looking at the curricular design level, we want to look at outcomes or competencies or how you want to go about it. At the end of this training period, the student should be able to do this. That's going to be an outcome based. At the end of the training period, the student will be competent to provide indirect restorations or whatever it is that you want to put, that becomes a competency statement. So, and when you look at competency statement, it is not just the task performance, it is also the professionalism, the ethical aspects of it, the self-directed learning aspect. Everything should be built into that competency statement. Okay. Is this part clear?
Yes.
Okay. So shall we go ahead?
So target audience is final year BDS and interns.
Yes. So I had also put in a column there in that which said, what is the characteristics of your students? So when you say final year BDA student or an intern, what is the characteristic that you're expecting? So when I say characteristic, it means what is the base level of knowledge or proficiency that they should have to be eligible to participate in your module or a course. So your entry requirement also should be detailed in this sector. So any final year student can become a part of it, or are you going to specify, okay, at this certain level of performance only they can become a part of the program?
Okay.
Or are you
So
going to cut, let's say, a cutoff percentage? They should have scored this much of marks, or they should be performing at this level at the 30 PDS exam to be eligible. So all that you need to think when you're designing the module or a course.
is there anything else, ma'am, in this target audience
So
other than it's only regarding their eligibility, or is there any other criteria also we should include in this?
see, what kind of learners are you looking for? It need not only be the eligibility criteria. It could also be someone, maybe you have designed a program for slow learners.
Okay.
Or maybe you are designing a program for those who intend to go for a particular kind of practice. You put it as general practice. Or maybe you want to design this for somebody who wants to work in a rural setup, right? So what is your target audience characteristics? The more clear it is, then that defines who is going to become part of your program.
Okay. So accordingly, it has to be a sort of, I wouldn't say marketed, because the pitching has to be done according to the audience.
Exactly. That's the whole point. One. Second thing is, when we say design a module or a curriculum, our mind jumps, or it always jumps to the content part, the syllabus part. The whole focus of this training, what we are having over the next 4 weeks or whatever it is to enlarge that scope and say, look, we are not talking of only syllabus. There are other characteristics which define a curriculum. So we have to pay attention to each of those components. Syllabus is just one part of it.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah, when you have your target audience and all very clearly identified, it becomes easy. So many schools are going to be coming up with finishing programs. So when you
Yes.
say you're going to develop a finishing program, why do you want to develop a finishing program? What kind of students are going to be a part of your finishing program? Are you going to restrict it only to students? Are you going to give it to fresh graduates? Are you going to open it for general practitioners who might want to join your course for a refresher? So you can have very structure and variety of participants, right? So that's how it can go.
So expected outcome or competency.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah, so the objectives part of it is going to be the overall objective of the course, and this is the expected outcome. Or maybe you can merge the two things together also, not an issue.
okay.
But this is not the expected outcome in its entirety, because I'm looking at broader outcomes. These are more at the SLO level.
Okay.
You've been taught how to frame SLOs, right? No?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Have you been taught Bloom's taxonomy?
Yeah.
So do you know what are all the verbs you need to use for cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains?
Yeah.
Okay. So just a tip on it, looking at this as an SLO. So when you say no, at what level of Bloom's taxonomy is it in cognitive thinking?
Lowest level.
No, that is Miller's pyramid. Okay. So in Bloom's taxonomy, we always say the SLO should be at a higher order thinking level. HOTS, right? So when you just say no, how will you measure no?
Cognitive level,
I'm going to
ma'am.
just give an MCQ.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to do it at a formative level. Are you going to just give an MCQ?
MCQ or Viva wo say?
Okay. So it's a simple question, right? There might be some 5 or 6 indications for indirect fixed restorations. So it's a straightforward recall.
Recall, yeah.
But if you're going to go at a higher level and say, students should be able to defend the
The
reason,
choice.
the choice for indicating indirect fixed restorations, then what happens?
So it's a higher level thinking.
Yes. So they should be able to,
Discriminatory power.
yeah, they should be able to link it with the patient characteristics, affordability, suitability of the patient, everything. So with just change of one verb, you're changing the level of thinking or questioning. So always look at higher order thinking skills. Okay. And okay, we'll go to the SLO segment later on. So let's move on to the design characteristics or design decisions. What model have you adopted to design this curriculum?
It's a student-centered, student-centered, problem-based, and an elective module.
Okay, no, this is not a curriculum design model. Let me reiterate that. SPICES is a guidance. So which curriculum design model have you adopted?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. So please go back and refer to Kern's model. Go through those 6 steps, right? Okay. So why did you choose a student-centered model?
Probably because they're at a level where self-directed cannot work here.
No. Self-directed learning is actually a student-centered learning methodology. Okay. So when you say student-centered learning, it means that you are not teaching the student because you feel it is important. You are teaching the student or facilitating the learning of the student because the student has a requirement. You are not giving this information because you are a sage. You are helping the student to learn. So everything is going to be from the point of view of the learner, not from the point of view of the teacher. That is what student-centered learning means. So let's say that you're teaching them how to make these indirect restorations. And some student requires 5 training programs, whereas another one might require 10. Does your curriculum have the flexibility to cater to the needs of both of them? That is how you need to integrate student-centered learning. What kind of learning resources will you provide? Do you expect them to do this by themselves? Okay, so those aspects need to be looked into. What do you mean by problem-based learning?
Problem-based learning is to create a scenario based on a clinical problem, and then trying to teach by solving the problem.
Okay.
Systematically.
Yeah. So your teaching is not going to be didactic. It is going to be an active learning. So you got to have, when you say a problem-based learning approach, you need to look at small group discussions. It is going to influence how your classroom design is going to be, how the student and the teacher ratio is, how you're going to see that those problem-based learning sessions have been productive, right? So a lot of aspects are to be decided upon when you choose these kind of methods. So we can't just say problem-based learning like that. So we'll have to think as to why we are choosing a particular methodology of teaching. Why an elective?
Yeah, now like in the previous slide, target audience, when you said target audience, I think does keeping this program elective be contradictory to our intended target audience?
You can consider there is nothing wrong in it. So when you see, there is also another heading where you have to design between whether it's a modular approach, whether it's an integrated approach, or it's a whatever other approaches, two approaches which I have listed out there. So here you're saying that you want it to be an elective. So when you say it's an elective, which means that not everybody might take it up.
Yes.
So based on the student's need, they might decide which one they want to pick it up. So what is the value addition of your program for such students? Why is it that they should choose your program? So these things should be very clear to the student also when you design your curriculum outline. Okay. Okay. And when you say elective, usually electives come with credit points. So if this many teaching hours, this many credit points, like that. So how we are going to get those credit points? How many hours minimum should be there? What does the curricular guidelines say about electives? So those are some of the things you will have to look at when you design it. Okay. Yeah.
So if it is not elective, that means it is compulsory.
Yes.
But then if it is compulsory, then can we keep some, like you said in the target audience, that we should have some minimum qualification or minimum competencies?
Yes. So then I'll
So
have to explain what you're going to do with those who don't have it.
yes.
So you're free to set your eligibility requirements.
Okay.
Whoever fills those eligibility requirements, and of course, whoever is ready to pay the extra fee, is fit for your course.
Okay. It is something like open to all, but with minimum requirements.
Correct. But when you say an elective, it gives a lateral entry.
Correct.
There also eligibility requirements will be there. It's not like anyone can take it up.
Okay.
Okay. So you have chosen a module-based approach. So why a module-based approach?
Because I thought it will be a very clear-cut progression of learning.
Okay. So you want to move from cognitive to
Yes.
a preclinical to a clinical.
Yes.
And linear progression.
Yes.
And if they don't clear the first module, they are not eligible to go to the second module.
Okay, I have not gone up to that level of designing it now.
Yeah.
Because
So
I
these,
put the evaluation as summative only. But again,
okay.
Evaluation can be module based also. Every module can have an evaluation.
See, if you're going with a module-based approach, you need to have a evaluation at every module.
Okay.
So there's no point in this. Okay. There is another way of looking at it. Now, placing this in direct restoration is a clinical skill.
Yes.
Right. How about merging module 1 and 2 together so that for every theoretical component, the student has a practical experience?
Yeah.
Because learning only theory might be boring. Okay, so that's another design aspect you can look at. Next. Okay, why a blended learning?
The theoretical part can be online,
Mhm.
and the rest of the practical and clinical will be offline.
Okay. Yes. And do the students need to be there for the theory, or can you consider a flipped classroom?
Yeah, that these things should be.
So these are all the design decisions you need to take. So instructional approach, you have put in all three: didactic, PBL, and CBL. So which is fine. And each of these can be considered in this flipped classroom mode also. And your learning resources need not be a synchronous learning. It can always be asynchronous also.
Asynchronous.
Right? So those are all aspects you can look at it. Maybe you can use it to cut down on the effective teaching time, but the students can read and go through the learning resources. Okay, next.
Curriculum management system and monitoring team, I have not thought of it.
Okay. What would you do?
If already there is a system available, like a learning management system is available, then we could use it. But otherwise, it is difficult to integrate.
You're trying to use an online platform and preclinical and all that, right? So what if you're using a Google Classroom?
Yeah, Google Classroom can be.
It's a curriculum management system.
Yeah.
You can give your assignments there, assessment strategies can be done, right? So
Yes.
so the designing the class is the only aspect of it. So that's a curriculum management system. Who is on your team?
Madam, every time it has to be an online mode, madam?
No, up to you. That's why it's blended learning. Na? He has opted for blended learning, which means it can be on.
Online, the benefit is that it is difficult to have either an elective or an additional program with the regular schedule of the.
Sir, I didn't understand the part like management system and team. Like a body has to regulate the progress and all of those, or what
When we
exactly?
say curriculum team, it means who are all the people on your team. You alone cannot be a curriculum designer, administrator, implementer, evaluator.
Okay.
So it always be working as a team, right? Who are all there on your team?
Okay, madam.
It could be your IT personnel who can help you. It could be your colleagues who are also going to take a few sessions.
Okay.
It could be your, let's say, residents who are going to evaluate the UG students' performance. Right? They all form part of your curriculum team. The curriculum management system is nothing but the learning management system, the LMS. So how are you going to say that your students have learned? How do you say that your students have progressed? You're going to maintain the documentation. So right now in many institutions, it is physically documented, attendance, etc. But quite a few are also shifting to a learning management system, be it in the performance or the attendance part of it, or sharing of notes part of it, resources part of it. So that is a transition we are undergoing in the digital age.
Let's say, madam, if the project is an interdepartmental project, the faculty of the different departments can be the part of the team, madam?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
It's for you to say who is going to be on your team.
Okay.
That question is there because we want you to think along those lines.
Okay.
Okay. Then how will you plan the curriculum monitoring? That it is being implemented the way you want it to be implemented.
Who
Feedback.
is supposed to do this?
So
Who is supposed to do this monitoring?
you'll have to put a plan in place and then assign it to somebody who has to monitor it for you. Or you do the monitoring.
Madam, monitoring cannot be in the form of a evaluation, madam?
What do you mean by evaluation here?
Like completion of whatever the modules we have set.
Yes, absolutely. That is one way. What else can you do? So the other time you mentioned Kirkpatrick model, right?
Yeah, madam.
So the Kirkpatrick model is a very good curriculum evaluation tool in terms of how did the students experience the curriculum. So you're going to get the reaction. How did the students learn? What
Okay.
impact it had on them? Because of your training, has there been a behavioral change? So like that, we have got different curriculum evaluation models or a program evaluation models.
Okay. Program evaluation.
So it's always a loop. So you do the evaluation and then say, okay, these are the gaps. Probably this learning resource is not appropriate. That's what the students are giving the feedback. So we can tweak it. We can always improve it. Maybe the objectives of the module itself need to be changed because it's not fulfilling the purpose properly. So then we go back to the drawing room redesign. Or maybe the assessments are too easy. Or maybe the assessments are too difficult. So you figure out what is appropriate based on the feedback part of it. So that is where the curriculum monitoring and improvement comes. Okay. So this requires a detailed approach. The ILOs, this we have discussed. So when you're designing your ILOs, please go for higher order thinking skills. Go back to Bloom's taxonomy and when you're talking about assessment strategies, have a look at the Miller's pyramid. Don't confuse the two. Now, many of us struggle to design a good quality intended learning objective or an intended learning outcome. Take the help of artificial intelligence for this. You can use ChatGPT, you can try with Microsoft Bing, or you can even try with the Google AI. I'm sure Chinmay Sir can teach you how to use AI for these prompts. And it is going to give you a very nicely designed intended learning objective. All you have to know is how to give it the right instructions. So for that, you should be aware of what to ask for. Okay. So learning and teaching methods. So this needs to be kind of detailed. In session 1, what's going to happen, session 2, what is going to happen, etc. And here, one thing I have left out is the assessment.
Yes.
Okay. I will introduce you to a new term called constructive alignment. Constructive alignment. What we mean by constructive alignment is your ILO, your teaching method, your assessment method should all be aligned to each other. Let's say that your ILO is by the end of this session, the student should be able to design a curriculum model or a curriculum module. If that's my ILO, if my teaching method is, I talk to you only about theory. I just talk to you about different models for curriculum design. And then I give you an essay as an outcome and say, write an essay on different curriculum design models. Is my ILO getting fulfilled? My ILO was that you should be able to design one, right? So what we did, I want you to design a model, a curriculum module. That is my ILO. That's why the teaching methodology has a hands-on training aspect. The outcome is going to be that you would have designed one module by the end of the training program. So the three things are constructively aligned. So think on those lines when you are designing your modules. For example, you want general patients, then your teaching method should prepare them to that level. So only theory is not going to help or only preclinical is not going to help. So how is it that you're going to align your clinical training to suit that ILO? And once it is done, how will you assess? If you ask the student to write an essay, it doesn't make sense. If you make your student do an OSCE, again, it doesn't make sense. If your student is actually going to perform on a patient, it makes sense. So how will you align objective, your teaching method, your assessment strategy? That makes the constructive alignment. Okay. Learner support. So what do you have in plan for learner support?
What is the difference between support and resources?
So resources are you are helping them with the basic requirements of reading materials or videos they need to watch. Learning support means, just a second. Sorry. Learning support means what kind of feedback will be provided to the student? How are you going to help them to learn better? How are you going to help them to improvise their learning strategies? How are you going to help them to identify the right learning resources which go beyond what you have provided? Are you looking at establishing only facilitator support, or will there be a peer support? So these mechanisms you will have to look at when you talk about learner support. Let's say that one student is not able to do a restoration at all. Then what should that student do? How will the student also come to that stage where he or she can perform? Is there going to be additional sessions to train them? So some of those design decisions need to be considered. Okay, learning environment. What does that mean?
It's a laboratory and clinical based.
Yes, but it goes beyond because you said blended learning, you also have an online environment. So learning environment, in this description, it goes beyond just saying it's an online lab or clinical based. It also can talk about the learning environment characteristics. Let's say I had used the word psychological safety. Did I use that term before with you?
No, no, madam.
No, no.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So let's say that now when we are discussing, I had given you an assignment and I had said, see, 4 of you should be, or 5 of you should be ready to present your module today. Right? What happened? Were you ready? Not ready?
Ready, madam.
Ready?
Ready.
We are trying, madam.
You're trying. Okay. So if I were to be a very angry teacher and say, you're all dumb people, you don't listen, you're absolutely worthless, don't come to my class, what will happen to you?
If we have genuinely tried, madam, we'll try to justify that, madam. It's not that way. What you think, madam? This is our perspective. Or if,
Otherwise,
or else if we have
We might
literally
lose the
cheated,
interest.
madam, then we'll accept that we are dumb.
We
Madam.
become upset, madam.
nobody will accept it.
We
No?
might lose the interest.
So
Interest. We become
is-
upset.
Yes, ma'am.
it is a
We
hostile
feel bad.
environment.
Yeah. So it becomes a very hostile environment, right? And none of you will like me. So, and when you don't like,
Switch off the video.
so should I take it that many of you have switched off your videos because you don't like me?
Madam, we don't have camera in certain laptops, madam. That is why our videos are done.
I'm joking. I'm joking. So when a student feels threatened, either they will stop putting in the efforts or they will just withdraw into a shell or they will find some other defensive mechanism to cope. But they are not going to approach you for enhancing their learning process. They'll say, oh, if I approach her or him, he's unlikely to get scolded, so I will not approach at all. Which means a learning opportunity gets missed out. And at times we just label them as dull students or dumb students, or we say arrogant students, or they have an attitude problem. But if we create a psychological safe environment, then the student is likely to respond because you are respecting them also. You are respecting their point of view also. And they have an opportunity to share, and that is going to motivate them to improve their performance. So learning environment should always promote psychological safety. So it often happens, no? When I was teaching in a dental college, the students would come to me for counseling because they felt I was very approachable. And the commonest challenge they all faced in prostho department was, Madam, if this teacher looks at the jaw relation and arrangement, it is okay. If another teacher comes, it's a problem. Or if one teacher has seen at step 1, the other teacher comes at step 2, or other one comes at step 3, there is always going to be a mismatch. So it's a problem. It's a genuine problem faced by students across different institutions. So what kind of a learning environment can be created which helps to solve this issue?
Madam, what will be your solution, madam, for this particular event?
I would suggest that the teacher should come to an agreement on say, okay, this criteria, this criteria, this criteria, if it is met by the student, let's approve this. Or if the student is not doing it fine, we are going to teach them how to do it. You know, instead of just blindly saying, no, this is rejected, go and repeat the whole thing. That kind of feedback does not help the student. But if you're going to give a constructive feedback and say, look, at this point, this is correct. At this point, there seems to be an error, which is going to affect the patient. Then the student is going to focus on it and improvise. Just go back to your conservative cavity cutting days and think of those reverse S curves. I don't know how many times you would have struggled to make those reverse S curves the perfect S curve. I studied in JSS Dental College, and Dr. Manjunath was a very strict teacher, and he would tear us down and say that you have to get it perfect. So, but we had to always figure out by experiment as to what was the perfect S curve. But giving a feedback to the student makes it easier. Here, when you have a psychologically safe learning environment, the student also becomes receptive to your feedback. Oh, this teacher is not telling me just like that. This teacher is genuinely interested in making me a better learner. That is why this feedback matters. So when students are given feedback like that, they also are going to take it positively. And many times when we give feedback to students, we forget that they are standing there in front of the patient. We forget that they're standing there where peers can hear them. So how are we giving them feedback? That also matters a lot. So many times we are insensitive and we just scold the student in front of the patient. What happens to the patient-doctor relationship at that stage? Will the patient have any trust in the student? The student also has a well-formed ego by that stage, right? They're all in 19 to 25, 28 age group. So what happens to that? So we have to be careful and sensitive to these things, and those things should be outlined in your learning environment. Because this is new to us, I would rather put these things down and say students should be given constructive feedback. When students have to be given a negative feedback, it should be done in private and not in front of the patient or near peers. So
these things
statements,
have to be, madam, these things have to be stated in the curriculum.
I would prefer that until it becomes internalized and we know for sure that everybody is going to practice it. Otherwise, if those statements are missing out in your learning environment, nobody will be even aware of it, right? They're going to continue the way they want to do it.
Jyothsana?
Yes, ma'am.
The maximum, I think the students face challenges in prosthetic department. You all will agree with me? So for that,
Yes,
what we need to do is to create satisfied, happy teachers who are internally happy. So we require I request all of you to hold conversations and talks. We'll talk about it. If you advise them, they will never agree and it will backfire. It has to be a roundtable, like, a learning circle type where you share you can have a point of the day and share, because there are students who are really taken drop, left and all, because the prosthetic teachers in the second year preclinical lab, it can happen in any year, but we are meeting them every day. But sometimes we get personal, and that's the time that teenager feels very, very unhappy. And B and conservative, these are the two domain departments as far as students are concerned. The other departments, they come, they pass by, and they are not so much related. You all agree with me that we need to do something regarding the psychological environment. Physical environment may be good also. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Yeah, and there are times when people are really struggling to handle in a process department because it's physically taxing. Maybe as practitioners, you are now used to working long hours, standing and all that. For a student, it might be really physically challenging also. So we need to be considerate of those efforts as. Now coming to the schedule. So you have 3 modules of 3 days each. So you'll have to justify why is it that your schedule is in that manner. So do you want to have a continuous one or do you want to split it up like this? If so, what is the reason for it? Student learning approach. So when you say progressively more self-directed, what do you mean by that?
That means it is initially it is much more of hand holding, and then as the student progresses in the course, he is allowed to have some freedom and learn independently.
Okay. On what basis will you say student requires hand holding and student can work independently?
Formative assessment.
Absolutely. Right. So when you observe a student and you feel more confident that yes, they are able to perform. So that is when the level of monitoring comes down. So this is what is progressively more independent working.
So
Progressively.
Dr. Padiyar said about self-regulated learning, not self-directed learning. Padiyar, we took a session on self-directed. Just go back. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we say self-directed, what it means is, how does a student identify what is there for him or her to learn? What is their learning gap? How will they identify what learning resources are required for them to fill that learning gap? So then they go back, read, and then they come for a discussion. And then they say, okay, these aspects are fine. This aspect, I need some more understanding. And that's how it goes on. So that would be a self-directed learning. Now you all identified that you want to pick up curriculum skills, assessment skills, teaching skills. So that's why you joined this course as a self-directed learner. Nobody told you to attend. You decided to do this because you felt there is a gap. So that makes you a self-directed learner. Supported by information technology resources. What does that mean?
Resources available on the net.
Yes. And when you use a word like that, it needs to be very specific. So are you going to say that they can use any information technology
No.
resource?
No. We have to give them a specific sites or what to call.
So you'll have to curate a list.
Curate a list.
You'll have to curate a list which are recommended for additional reading, right? So that is how you can support that. Distance learning and activities. What do you mean by that?
Distance learning for clinical skills, and I think that would be a little.
You can't learn clinical skills with distance mode, right? unless you have some device for simulation and all that. So it's a tiny component of your module, the theoretical aspect only, which can be distance based or online based, whereas the rest of it is all going to be hands-on, skill based. So you will have to change that, the student learning approach. Okay, next point. So here assessment should not be only summative, but you need to look at formative. So what all assessments can you think of? Either formative or summative.
Based on the knowledge domain, or it's a skill domain, we have to choose the appropriate tool.
That's what. What are all the tools which you can consider?
For knowledge, it is written test, MCQs, Viva OC, and for practical, it could be OSPE.
What was your objective of your module?
To prepare competent practitioners in day-to-day procedures like indirect restorations.
So by the end of your training module, the student should be able to independently place indirect restorations, correct?
Yeah.
How will you assess that they're capable of that?
By a practical examination or clinical
Yes.
examination.
Yes, so that is going to be a summative. That is going to, when we say summative, it just means that there is going to be a pass or fail decision. What is the difference in the formative stage and the summative stage?
In the formative stage, there is a scope for feedback and improvement.
Exactly. So when you design your assessment system, design it in such a way that when the student performs, there is going to be feedback. The student has time to reflect on it. And at the next patient management case, he or she is able to improve on it. So you ask for learner support, no? And said increasingly or progressively self-directed. So this identification of the learning gap based on the reflection and then improving is all part of that process. So when you design, you have to think of all these factors. Okay. We have 2 minutes left. So anyone has any questions? What we have discussed so far? Dr. Parikar, can you stop sharing? I think we should give a big round of applause to Padiyar sir for sharing his work and giving us all an opportunity to learn together.
I don't know where.
True leader, true leader.
At the bottom, you'll have stop sharing option, or at the top. Yeah, thank you. So do we have any questions? Okay, if we do not have any question, we're going to be meeting again on 26th. No, 26th. Just confirm. Tuesday. 2 weeks from now. No, 3 weeks from now, on the 27th. Okay. So we're going to meet on the 27th. On that day, we would want your modules to be ready, and we're going to divide you into breakout rooms. 3 people or 4 people per breakout room. You want to present your findings, your module, and give the rationale how you have gone about it. Just like how we discussed with Padiyar sir, please pay attention to it, to each of it. Justify your design decisions. And if you want to be a higher level learner, I would suggest that you give a reference as to why you have chosen that decision. Like when I said objectives or competencies, on what basis did you design your competencies? When I said spices model, where is the reference for the spices article? If you are going with a blended learning, what makes you choose blended learning? Is there evidence to say that blended learning really works well? So something like that. There's a higher level of learning that you can consider, just to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Over to you, Suhasini, ma'am.
Ma'am, a small query, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, in Kern's model, the way in which we have to use the one which we are using for designing, ma'am, we have around 6 steps to design the model. So, starting from the identifying the problem, need, and the assessment, and forward. So, each step when we explain, ma'am, like goals and objectives. While I was designing, ma'am, I mentioned like need assessment by using questionnaire, pilot study of the holders. How further we have to go about the each step of this designing, ma'am?
Yeah, just a blueprint for you to say how you should systematically develop a module. So the same thing I've given it to you in the checklist, but in a more elaborated version.
So these each steps we have to elaborate it much broader.
Yes. That is the questions we were asking. No. So Padiyar said when he designed the needs assessment, he just looked at it from a teacher's perspective and said, this gap is there, that is why I want to design. Then we said, look at it from a student's perspective, look at it from a curricular designer perspective or your administration perspective. Also look at it from a patient perspective. So when you get all the 4, the needs assessment becomes very strong. So that is what is the triangulation.
Ma'am, we have learned everything in different aspects. Like we have learned about various models of designing. We learned about spices. Ma'am, how we could integrate everything to explain, like, do we have any kind of a kind of an example that we have made? Like, for example, if I want to integrate, we want to develop a curriculum planning for digital impression for the final year student. So, what is a roadmap that I can follow, or what is it's? Is there any?
You can use that checklist. It is
Okay,
going
ma'am.
to give you a direction as to what are all the aspects you need to consider. And when you're at, let's say, a point number 8, and when you go through it, you have a doubt and say, is this appropriate, not appropriate? How should I go about it? Ask in the group. We'll respond. That way, everybody is going to learn together. Okay.
So can we have a discussion forum for this project as well, ma'am, in the LMS?
Yes.
Chinmay sir, I don't have access to your LMS. So if we are going to have it on WhatsApp group also, it's fine for me. It makes it easy for me.
So we'll try to get it and add you in that group also, and add you in LMS also.
Okay.
So
But if you're posting anything on the LMS, please let me know, because I will not be monitoring your LMS regularly. So I will not be aware.
WhatsApp group, you are there already.
Yes, ma'am. WhatsApp, if you communicate, then immediately I can respond.
No, we will communicate in WhatsApp. Next session is on 27th, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, next session is on 27.
Okay. So over to you, Suhasini, ma'am.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jyothsana. It was a wonderful session. I think lot of catch up and lot of recollection by them, their own experiences and what we do. And this academic environment every day, every time we speak about it, because we feel that the environment needs to be greatly improvised in our dental colleges because of multiple reasons. Every faculty is not a god, he's a human being. The way he has been treated, the way he's undergoing stress around also matters. But with all these things, if you are connected internally to be strong, no, that one training needs to be given of emotional intelligence, the faculty. That is very, very important. I'm trying to include that in this year's session with a actual hands-on only, no lecture baji. All the 5 breakout rooms only. But only thing is, this people only come on Tuesday. If I keep on some other day, they are not ready to. Maybe one person says this, one person says that. That is the main issue. But we are also now got used to Tuesdays, and I think Padiyar and Mirna, you need to present next week. Okay, next week you need to present, and others people can just modify their projects and talk to one of us. Please talk to Chinmay and Gaurang also. They will help you a lot because I am tied up with certain things. I may not be easily available. Then you can call me on Thursday, Friday next. Okay. So even WhatsApp, I will answer. Wherever I am, WhatsApp is available. So
Okay.
I think you need to recollect and recall the sessions what we have done. Please go through that. I used to do that with you in the first few sessions. Please write down what the sessions you have taken, because that's the only way to stay connected and embed in your daily practice. Whatever you do now should be in the practice. Otherwise, it's very superficial. It's in the very compartment where you lose it. It's not deeply ingrained. It's a short-term memory it becomes. We want a long-term memory for all these things. And instead of blaming the DCI or the university, we can make small changes in our own institutions, right? The projects they have taken are very good, Jyothsana. I will invite you in the second when they improvise and bring. And once the ethics committee permission is they have received, or just before that, if they want to present the improvised project, I will take you a time. I'll take 1 or 2 more people, Hinal and all, and then we can have a session.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. 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 Who is with Chinmay is there? Who is
Yes,
there?
yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm there. So just I would like to again share everyone that all the material and all the sessions are there in LMS. So if you miss any of the session, please go through it. So now we will be uploading within 2 days of the session into LMS. So you will be able to look at it, or even you can revise also all the things. And the session of 26th is for ma'am, Jyothsana ma'am. Our routine session will continue. So don't think that next week we will.
It's 27th.
27th. But
Next
next week also we will have.
Next week, not Jyothsana. Next week, I think it is. I need to look at the calendar I have sent.
Yeah. But we have
It
session.
is
Not
Chari
Jyothsana, but
or
somebody else.
Hinal. I don't remember. I think it's Chari, no? It is 13th. I think it's 13th.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I think we will be sharing the calendar with you also, all also in the notice section. So you will also have an idea who is taking and what topic.
You can put the month's calendar. We had shared once the 6 months calendar. They have not looked at it. Gaurang had put it, I know. So just share the February, March calendar with them, which I have just shared with both of you. Chinmay? Chinmay, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm unmuting.
Yeah. Yeah. when you learn all these things now, the teaching becomes very exciting, isn't it? It's challenging, and you no more have any grouses against others because you're sharpening your own skills, you're focused on that. Yeah. Yeah. So we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
call it a day. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you,
Thank
Jyothsana.
you, ma'am.
Um,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Bye bye.